All right, well, let me show where the poll stands on this one. Again, 51% of the public believes here that we got to create a plan to stop the flow, and then 45% say they want legal residency. But when you look even closer,
I don't know why those two are mutually exclusive.
I was just going to say, absolutely.
And I was going to say the better number was they asked, what should we do for these kids? And 70% of the public believes that we should find a plan for these kids, that we could give them some care and something else, rather than that last lawmaker says, put them on the bus, slap the bumper, and wish them luck wherever they end up. To that point here, especially for the border states, is this a winning or a losing issue for Republicans? Can they say, see, Democrats here, broken borders, look what they've done? Or, they acknowledge it after 12, that they got a major problem. They need the Latino vote here, the way the demographics are shaping up. Do they risk turning off the Latino voter coming off as callous?
I think in the short run, they have to go after the administration and Democrats for not doing enough to secure our borders and to allow this to happen. I mean, the reality is Obama has also deported more immigrants than any other president in history. But when you look at it and you look at these short-term elections and everything along the border states, they need to do what they can to show that this is an epidemic, this is a crisis. This president is not doing a thing about it. Our security is at risk. These low-paying jobs or whatever you want to call it, they're just screwing up society, and you don't want them living in our neighborhood. And that's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to say.
This is one of the areas where Republicans could easily overreach. I mean, when we saw the crowds with the buses yelling at the kids who were on there, go back to, we don't want you. That's taking this a step too far. I mean, it's
and the public both say they don't like that.
Border security is one thing, and that's an issue that works well for Republicans, and I'm sure they'll press on it. But if it becomes bloodthirst, then I think that'll turn off a lot of people. It could be the equivalent of the forcible rape.
Richard, this plays. I disagree with you guys. This plays right into Republican hands. Yet again, they can say the Democrats have caused this problem. They are hoping it'll turn out their base. It energizes the Republican vote.
But Dom, here's the thing. When you look at some of the numbers, I know what you're saying. To win the primary, to be the Republican wherever you are, I get it. Makes sense. Throw out the red meat. But when you're that swing voter, when you're the woman out there, and you see these guys yelling at these 7 or 8-year-old kids, right? Or when you hear some of the stuff they're saying about gay marriage, right? Or you hear some of the stuff that they're saying about, impeaching the president, or we got to sue him and all the rest. Even if you don't like the way things are going right now, you look at those guys and say they're not ready for prime time. I think that's part of the reason things are narrowing.
You're speaking as a New Yorker.
Right.
You go down
totally
there.
As a New Yorker.
The men, the women, you think that it might be more compassionate and all because these are kids and all. They just don't care. They're
Richard,
not.
all they see is what Ann Coulter said.
Yeah.
You're going to let them in the country now, and they'll be collecting welfare in 2 years.
Yeah.
That's what most Americans outside of New York and eastern states, that's what they really think deep down inside. And most importantly, they'll be voting Democratic.
And keep in mind, combining House and Senate races, there's only about 20 competitive districts in the entire country. There's like 6 Senate races and maybe 15 House races.
But those 6 races are going to decide who's in charge.
It will for the Senate, but and it should still be a good year for Republicans. You would think they'd still be able to overcome, unless there's too many of these issues where they do stick their foot in their mouth. But there's not that many swing votes, swing elections this fall.
Well, okay, here's what I like to do when we come back. It's been 10 years since, I'd argue, Obama launched himself onto the national landscape. He was a state senator from Illinois. Who the heck really heard of Barack Obama? But he gave a speech at the DNC convention here that had everybody talking that it was when, not if, this guy was going to be a national player. And obviously, we see how it is. So, reality versus rhetoric. We're going to take a look back at that speech, and we'll ask you, God, has he aged like the rest of us? Did he make good on his promises to the American public? And if he didn't, whose fault is it? Stay with us.